Right at it. Right at it. Oh,
Jordan
he's
Spieth.
done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Hello, folks, and welcome into episode 85 of the Go Get That podcast. Man, for a long stretches of today, we're recording currently Sunday, April 16th, 8:07 p.m. For long stretches, we thought this would be live. With 2 feet left on a putt rolling towards the hole in the first playoff hole, I was certain it would be live. But here we are. Jordan and I are here. Bob is in the Bahamas trying to drink away the pain, I'm sure. And he will give his thoughts at some point. And we'll get to those, and they're important. But we need to talk about it. We needed to get it out. Another close call for Jordan Spieth. And I guess, great week. We'll get into it all, but I mean, just your initial kind of thoughts right now.
Yeah, it's brutally difficult. As soon as it ended, I went for a walk. I'm still like kind of struggling over here. It's just another close call, but a different type of close call. Valspar and API kind of fell into his lap. And this week he kind of grabbed it, took it, played great golf. As he likes to say, got 1% better each day, played better each day. And it just wasn't enough. I mean, if you would have told me we're recording 8 o'clock Sunday night, if you would have told me about 12 hours ago that he'd shoot 66, I'd be jumping for joy. But 66 obviously did not get it done. It took us to a playoff where had a couple looks to win. Putt on 18 from the first playoff hole was a great putt, just slipped out. And 17 is probably the only stroke of 4 plus 3 is 7 plus 66 of the 73 strokes we hit today before the third playoff hole that I really would have liked back. Didn't hit a great putt in the second playoff hole. Didn't get it to the hole from 10 feet up the hill. So that sucked. But yeah, I mean, besides that, Jordan Spieth again just showed that he is, I can't say back, because I think we're not back until we win one of these big events, but that Jordan Spieth is playing some really, really good golf, and it just wasn't enough today, apparently.
Yeah. You can pinpoint a lot of things this week. I think he was T1 in the field in birdies. So clearly he had the firepower to win. And there were just a couple too many mistakes. And a really, really tight field. He kind of elevated himself from that field. He elevated himself in an elevated event. And I've watched the putt on 18 in the playoff 20 times, 25 times. And I still don't understand how it falls right like that. If you watch it starts moving back left. Like it's coming off the hill and coming down from left to right. And then at one point it straightens out, and that's like 2 feet from the hole. And at that point you're like, it's over. And he thought it was over. And it was about to be vintage Spieth. They've talked a little bit on broadcasts recently about how he's mentioned that he feels like he's playing at a 27, well, maybe not at a 2017 level, but like he feels the same way. He feels that good about his game. 2017 was an amazing year. 3 wins, major championship, run at the FedEx Cup at East Lake. And we've seen it now. It's now there's 2 Sundays in a row where he's played really, really, really good golf. Obviously, the Valspar was, well, frankly, even API for 3/4 of it was fantastic, and then Valspar for 5/6 of it was fantastic, and then Hilton Head was fantastic for 100% of it until the 21st hole. Like, or, and I suppose, the putt on the 20th hole of that Sunday will be the one that we kind of look back on as like, man, that was a good chance. He knew what it was doing. He just needed to hit it a tiny bit harder. And it sucks to see it slip away like that. I mean, Fitz played awesome down the stretch. You can't deny. I mean, you and I talk off camera sometimes about like, man, Spieth keeps giving himself chances, and one of these times he's gonna play him the last 7 holes and 3 under. He's gonna play the last 7 holes and 3 under and win the tournament. And he played them in, I think, only 1 under today. But he made a nice bounce back on 15 after the thing on 14, and Fitzpatrick played him in 2 under to get to a playoff. And Fitzpatrick was up 2 to start the day, shot a 68. And honestly, could have had a couple great chances on 17 green, both in regulation and in the playoff, to win it himself. But it's, at this point, it hurts way more than the chokes, just because he was, he deserved to win in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And not that Fitzpatrick didn't deserve to win. I think they both kind of deserved to win. It just happened that Fitzpatrick just made the final birdie, and beat him in that sense. So, man, it's tough to find words to kind of describe what it is other than just summarizing at the moment.
Yeah, it's very raw. I'm happy we're doing it now because I think it gives the viewers kind of a look into what we're seeing. It's tough. You go 68, 67, 66, 66 and lose. That doesn't happen unless you're at Craig Ranch, which we'll be at in a few weeks. I think Jordan made 5 bogeys this week. I mean, 22 birdies of 5 bogeys and lost. It's tough to swallow. And he played great golf today. Again, so I mean, 10th hole today, hits it in the water, grinds out the par, saves
Yeah, that
par.
was big.
15 tee
The
shot
bounce back. Yeah.
isn't in a great spot, has to lay up, gets up and down from 90 yards. Like, credit to Fitz for, going 2 under on the back nine. He fought, he kept himself in it, didn't make any mistakes. But yeah, it's tough from Jordan's point of view, obviously. I think we've been like on this ascent ever since Phoenix.
Yeah.
And there still hasn't been a prize to be won yet, which I guess with, the PGA Championship about a month away might not be awful, but it's brutal because I talked to a friend of our podcast, Ryan, quite a bit about how if he gets into contention like 9 times a year, the odds are he'll win 2, maybe 3. And now we're 0 for 3. So it's tough to swallow. Obviously, I think the way Jordan's playing is, again, more will keep coming, but at some point, I mean, we're gonna be in May when Jordan next tees it up. I think we'll
Yeah.
have, I don't know, like 12 to 14 more events left this year, I want to say.
Maybe.
I was kind of
Probably more
looking at
like,
that.
probably closer to 10, to
Yeah, I was trying to
be
figure, I'm
honest.
trying to figure that
Because he'll
out.
play, it seems, the other news of today, it seems like he'll play Wells Fargo in 2 weeks, which I think is fantastic. Sucks for the people who are going to go to Travelers, because I think he'll probably skip Travelers, but
Yeah.
the sooner he gets back out there, the better, I think. He'll play, well, I guess he'll play probably 5 in a row. And then the US Open would be 6. So then the Scottish and the Open would be 7, 8. and then 3 playoff events.
Yeah, I have
with
11. Yep.
9, 10, 11. So yeah, 11 more chances to get a win. And
About halfway through the season, just about.
yeah, and it's the best players in the world win 1, 2, 3. I mean, the best players on like the number 1, number 2 players win 4 or 5 times, whatever. The consistent best players in the world, you think about guys like Schauffele, at least last year, or like guys who have been like 5th in the world rankings, win two times a year, 2, 3 times. And I mean, 3 times is an amazing year. And he could have 3 right now, but I think it sucks that he has 0.
Yeah.
Partly because, well, one, the Saturday scoring average has not been great. That's like the one that's it's above 70. And the other ones are in the 60. I think they're all in like the 69 range, so that'll drop this week. But each time he's been in contention, he's gotten better. So this is kind of now looking at positive lens, because there's so many positives to take away from this
Yeah,
week.
for sure.
Saturday at API was not good. Sunday was obviously fantastic for a long stretch, but that tournament, he
Fell
didn't
into his lap.
deserve to have the opportunity that he had Sunday afternoon.
No.
Did he still kind of throw it away? Sure. Valspar, I'm trying to remember Saturday. It was up and down, right? It should have been better than it was, and that was probably the round that cost him kind of the solo lead / more control going into Sunday, but then he played a beautiful Sunday until 16.
Yeah.
And then this week, I mean, he went 10 under on the weekend, made 2 bogeys, and was, you know, I mean,
You can't ask for much more.
no, you can't. And it's like, all right, he played great and he lost. But he's been there enough consistently now. This is his unfortunately, in a sense, he's now got 4 top 5s without a win. And but and to his credit though, 3 of those top 5s he had the lead at some point, the solo lead. So
Yeah.
you can look at that and say, all right, well, it does suck that he doesn't have one. But it's also like, all right, when he's getting there, he's doing a good job of feeling out, and he keeps getting better. And I think that's the thing that people, I mean, it's hard to like put words to right now, because obviously you want to win as much as possible, but it's hard to win, and sometimes you have to build back to being a perennial winner, especially when you go through such a dip of a career trajectory like he did. And it's so encouraging that he, like, Saturday was awesome. This Saturday, yesterday. Or when you're listening to this, probably 2 days ago. I mean, a 66 on Saturday to vault yourself from when you started the round like T21, everybody's making birdies like crazy, and you just, out in 3 under, home in only 2 under, I suppose, but 33, 33, and you do an excellent job. And then today, just to go grab the tournament on the front 9, the tee shot on 10 was brutal. I
Doesn't
kind of
matter
knew
though.
something like that was going to happen, but to get back and make the par there, and then just keep pushing. 14 was tough, but like kind of understandable in a sense. But I think that's the next step, is because obviously Valspar, he played he was 4 birdies until the 16th hole, and then he bogeyed 18 as well. So he played pretty clean golf, especially for him. The next step is on a Sunday to take like 14 today, for example, and to hit it on the green and 2 putt,
Yeah.
instead of leave it in that spot. And that's That's the separator of the ninth best player in the world, which he is currently, and probably a top like 4 player, top 3 player, is the ability to, as Bob would call it, sack up and hit those shots on every hole almost, especially when you're winning a tournament. So he's so close, and he's played so well. And it sucks that he's got 2 weeks off now. I mean, it's good, but it's also because the events aren't that great. But just like I he's playing so good, and you don't want the faucet to kind of come off or shut off or whatever. So
Yeah, that's fair. I think your point on 14, I don't think I agree with it, to be honest. I really don't think there is a next step. You shoot 66 on Sunday, you probably win what, 90? I don't know how many times out of 100, but a lot. Um, I I don't know what the odds are of winners on the PGA Tour who go bogey free on Sunday. Like it's a
yeah,
tough ask, and like oddness. I mean, Hilton Head played easier this week than I think it probably usually does. But like on this course in particular, like the gust of the winds that you can get when you're in the trees and some of the holes, like it's easy to make a square around here. And even did Fitzpatrick make a bogey today? He
he
did,
did.
correct? Yeah, he bogeyed
Yeah,
7. He built himself a nice 2-shot cushion coming into the day, which I mean 1 shot too over us, but I
yeah,
don't know. I mean bogey free on Sunday is always going to be a tough ask. I really can't complain about a whole lot this
no,
week. Like I think you could have Valspar and API. The putt on 17 obviously could have been better. In the playoff. That's like the only thing, Dan, to be quite honest. Like I don't want to go back to Thursday and yell at him for the freaking or Friday when he made the 6 on the par 5. Like I'm not gonna
well,
go
yeah,
back and do
3 putt
that.
on 17.
Yeah, the 3 putt
Yeah,
on 17, but like
that
I don't.
happens, I feel like, and that's kind of part of his
That's who he
experience.
is. Yeah, I don't give a crap
Yeah,
about that. When you play the weekend in 10 under, like I'm not gonna go, oh, on Friday. It could have been different. And here's where like it's different and where I would do it. Like 2021 Open when he made the 2 bogeys on 17 and 18 on Saturday. Like that I'd look towards because it's on the weekend. I
yeah,
just don't want to go back to Friday at the RBC Heritage and blame a shot or 2 there that cost us. He just
yeah,
got beat this time around, unlike Valspar and API, where they kind of fell in his lap, didn't have his best stuff, and was just kind of able to hang on with his B game. He had probably, I mean, close to his A game this week.
yeah. I was
Um,
gonna give. Well, I think I'd give it as A minus game.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, he can always get better.
Yeah, I
But
think.
yes,
I mean, it's it's so there. The game is
yeah,
like,
it's fun.
dude. I mean,
It's fun.
today alone, if you told me he would have gained 2.5 shots on approach and almost 2 shots with the putter and almost a shot around the greens, over. Like no shot. Anybody is topping that. Granted, he did lose a shot off the tee, with
That's
the
right.
1 on 10, which reasonable, happens, whatever. Um, and yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and I think like the next step. I still think there is a next step, but I think it's like the finest of steps, because at the end of the day, all of these like or maybe not the fine this it's the finest of margins, the slimmest of margins, it's the smallest of steps. Like it's the last rung on the ladder, if we're gonna stick with ladders here as my go-to like
We love a
analogy.
ladder.
Yeah. um it's the tiniest things that
Yeah.
separate the all of these guys, even like the 180th best player in the world, whoever that is, to Jordan Spieth. It's really not like that far. Just over 72 holes, it becomes a little bit farther. So the gap between Spieth and um say Rory at number 3 in the world. Well, and you have to look at a bigger sample size here than just Rory's past couple weeks. It's it's not far at all. It really isn't. It's like it's not hitting it into the water on 10 and making a better swing off the tee on 14. And those are very like I mean, the tee shot on 10 was bad, but
You made
you know,
par though. Like that's
the
like my
recovery is
argument
fine.
too.
Yeah.
Like if you make par, like it's a par hole like most of the time anyway. I mean, sure, you hit in the fairway, give yourself a chance to
Yeah.
birdie, but
Well, I'm
you
not
made
arguing
par.
for a birdie. It's just like there is a point of like
I think I get where you're coming.
API. Well, API just didn't have it down the stretch. Whatever. But water right 16 Valspar hits it in the water. Water left 10 here, Hilton Head hits it in the water. It's like, and I get he missed the water on 14 and he missed it there, but just kind of that next step of and it's so small because he'll hit bad shots, right? That's just kind of who he is. But it's like we just need one of these Sundays when he gets there, it's gonna be the bad shot is gonna be like instead of a wedge to like 5 feet, it's gonna be a wedge to like 20 feet. And it'll be like, he left maybe a shot out there or something. And yeah, I'm complaining about super small things, right? And
Yeah,
there's plenty of areas you could point to where he could have gotten a shot back. Because he played an A minus A Sunday. He played an A Sunday.
yeah.
He gained four and a half, almost 4.5 shots on the field today. And it wasn't enough to beat Fitz by 3.
It's an
Like I
ace.
think
Yeah.
you just give credit to Fitzpatrick for gaining 2.5 shots on the field. Leading Fitzpatrick was leading the tournament by I guess 1 over Cantlay, but 2 over Spieth, and then 3 over a bunch of guys. And he beat the field by 2.5. And that's gonna do it a lot of the time. So the slimmest of margins, man. And that's what makes it so this one just sucks. It's so painful.
Does.
Like, oh. And we're not even talking about any of this if the putt just does what it's supposed to do on the first playoff hole on 18, or he hits it just a tiniest bit harder on 17. Like, oh God, dang.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm not even mad. I'm just sad. Like, there's nothing to be mad about. I mean, this is the best tournament he's played. I mean, he played better this week than he did at Augusta. Again, it's funny. Like last week, we were saying best tournament since the 2021 Open, and this one just probably took the spot of that.
No, this one's better.
Yeah, I mean, he
We'll have
played.
to wait for the adjustments, but
Yeah, I mean, he played 4 good, well, what, 2 good and probably 2 great rounds this week. There's nothing to be mad about. Just didn't go our way. And the only thing I'm gonna ask for is to keep it up. I I'm really, really, really happy he said he's probably gonna play Quail Hollow in 3 weeks because like you're playing this good, dude. Get the heck back out there and keep on going. Like I
yeah.
think that's probably the decision he's probably making too. He's streaky. I
Well,
pray he doesn't lose in any of the games.
right.
But like, yeah, get out there, go play 5 in a row. You're mentally fatigued. You can practice lightly one of the weeks, but I mean, this is fun, man.
Yeah.
It's very, very fun to watch him like be in the picture every single week. And that's what elite players do. And if he plays like he did this week, he's gonna win. It's just about, keeping it up, which is the hard part.
Yeah, and to that point about like consistency, because we've obviously seen it these past couple years when a couple weeks are taken off or whatever it may be. Sometimes the game goes a little awry. This is probably his best. I mean, I guess the streak in 2021 where he went from what was it, waste management to through the Masters
That was fun.
was awesome. And then the game was like, kind of the rest of the way until the Open, right? He didn't really contend much after that, correct? He had a T9 at probably the Byron Nelson, probably a decent week at Colonial, but nothing
Second at
where,
the Schwab.
oh, really? Oh,
That's
that's
when
right.
he didn't have it on Sunday
His
though, and
Coke
Kokrak.
rack.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
that was
forgot about
brutal
that.
though, because he didn't even have it that day.
Yeah.
He had
But
it
it's
Monday.
and to that point, like, yeah, he was awful that day. But
Thanks, Steve.
like I think this is now sort of the longest. I feel more comfortable that this can be maintained than in the past 2 years.
Well, S.
Like
Cameron's back, So
Yeah, the putter is back, which helps immensely. Right? When you save, I guess he gained to the field, he gained like 6 shots, maybe 7 or 6 to 8.
this week,
Yeah, with the putter just over the course of the week. Like it's a massive
5.
difference. 5 total, that's it?
Yeah, one
Wow.
and a quarter a day.
Okay.
I'll
So
take 5
I mean
though every
that's
week.
still really good. I mean, it's way better than losing what he had been, like 2 to the field the past.
He sucked
Um,
last year on the greens. Like
yeah, I think last year he lost 3.
it was a pathetic show for Mr. Spieth last
Yeah,
year.
it was not good. But point is like, you make putts at that rate, if you continue to putt like that, which is good. It's not amazing. But it is definitely good, and it gets you more spots in contention, that's for sure. I think the swing is in a much better spot than it was in 22, he had a couple weeks where he flushed it, but I feel better about it now. And then I think he feels better about it than he did in 21.
Yeah,
Where
I
it's kind of
guarantee that. Yeah,
more laid off, a little like
you
prime
said it. It was a
Fowler-ish.
band-aid. It was a band-aid in
Uh,
21.
yeah, it was. And I think 22 was like taking that Band-Aid off and putting on like some gel, and it just didn't work. And now it's fully healed. Um, if we're gonna push that analogy. Uh, so
The wound is healed.
oh man, the wound is healed. I mean, he's playing such fantastic golf. I think it's to your point though, it's mad isn't the right word for this one. I don't think, I mean, even in general, I'm never mad at how he plays. It's just like, all right,
I
bad
don't know
week.
about.
I think this
Funny we
one's
were
just more
talking
like,
about it.
damn.
Like 2021 Colonial, I was pissed because like he played
Yeah,
so
that was
great the first
bad.
2 days and then just fell apart. I'm like, dude, what the heck is going on? But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can't. I'm not mad about this week. Um, wasn't really. I'm just more sad than anything about this week. I haven't been mad all year to be honest, because API he was lucky to even be in the picture. And he's just grown so much as a golfer even since API, man.
No,
Watching
yeah,
him miss all those short ones, and then he stands over that putt on 18, strokes it in with the big fist pump to get into the playoff. Like
yeah,
we've came so far in really like 2 months, or really about a year and so on, because he just didn't putt well at all last year and missed a bunch of shorties. Like he's not missing shorties anymore. He's making clutch putts. I get the playoff it happened, but first playoff hole, good putt. We agree on that. Everyone agrees on that. And 17 just wasn't a great putt, but not every putt you hit is going to be a good one. That's
yeah.
golf, but the confidence is just sky high with really everything. Even the wedges this week. The wedges have not been
Yeah, the
great in
wedges were great.
2023. They were phenomenal this week. There's
Yeah,
literally 0 hole in Jordan Spieth's game. I think the fade off the tee is still probably a work in progress, but he hit some great fades this week.
yeah,
I don't recall him blocking anything way right besides 10 on Saturday, but there was water left, so okay, it's a fine bailout. I mean, literally,
yeah.
Dan, he's
No,
got like no flaws in his golf game at the moment.
it's all kind of working, and the approach game is really good too.
Yeah,
Um,
really, really good.
but I think the important part is that there's still another
Year?
no, like did you say gear?
Yeah,
I think there is. Like
there is.
I
It's
think
called winning a major championship.
and it's yeah, but it's like in the game though. Like I don't think if he plays like this, I think he's there and like I think that there's this final like step, and maybe it's not just on a Sunday.
No, I
It's on
agree.
like it's on the Thursday and Friday
Yep.
because he's
Yep.
played great Thursdays, but I also think it's on the Thursday, Friday, maybe even a little bit of Saturday of like, let's get ourselves a good lead into Sunday. Like
I agree.
why are we playing to the pack here and then having to post a perfect round Sunday to try and win?
Yep.
Because
Agreed.
even at Valspar, I know the shot on 16 was not good. Putt on 17 was not good. If he had completed that and shot 4 under to win at 11 under, or even just get in at 10, like that would have been the perfect round. Like it would have taken pretty much perfect golf. And today he played pretty much perfect golf, and it just didn't go. And it's like, all right, that's now 2 Sundays where it's like he's had the looks. And the other thing is each Sunday he's kind of learned something. API didn't finish great because didn't hit some good tee shots. Valspar, all right, put it in the water on 16, but made a birdie on 14, made a big save on 15. And then today just couldn't drop a putt the last 2 holes. The first 2 playoff holes. So it's like every time there's something that just prevents him from winning, so to speak. And it becomes the thing that is preventing him from winning is becoming more like chance based, if that makes any sense. Like hitting a bad tee shot is not really chance. It's just like you had a bad swing. Not making a putt like the one on the first playoff hole is chance. He said it. If he hits it again, he thinks it goes in 8 out of 10. But
Of course he does.
the likelihood is like there's worlds in which that putt goes in.
If he hits it at noon today, I think it probably does. Yeah, but
yeah, and there's quite a few of them, and that's the point is like, which one makes this a lot more painful, I think, than the other ones. And it's a sharper kind of pain, and then
it's a stabbing pain.
yeah, and then there's so on the one side it's like, all right, this hurts, but on the other side it's like, I mean, that putt was in and it didn't go in, and it's like, what do you do? What can you do about that? And then the next putt, I mean, that one's disappointing, I think, but that's if you're gonna complain about it. Fitzpatrick had 2 putts from basically the same spot on that hole and missed them both.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty decent, chance for. That took some luck for Spieth to be in that spot anyway. So it's just like, keep pushing, man. Keep pushing. I mean, he's not listening, but like, if he can hear me somewhere, keep pushing. He knows it too. He
doesn't need to
off, I think.
Yeah, he's ticked off. He's hungry. I mean, it's brutal, man, because like it's like
He's so
2021.
close.
It's 2021 Open all over again, where he just plays great golf and gets beat, and that sucks because like you play so dang good and it's so hard to win, and you just get beat. Whereas Valspar API, like he didn't deserve to win those. Didn't deserve to win the Heritage last year. Won it. It's so weird, man, because he's probably gonna go out like 4 weeks, win the Schwab or something, probably have like his B game, and he'll win that one. We'll be like, oh man, like golf is just so weird in that, sense. But the game's in a great spot. I think we kind of know that by now. Keep saying it. The Wanamaker is about a month away. That's kind of what I got He's hungry, man. Like I just want it to all come together at a major, but I guess at this point would take any event. It's just tough. I feel like I keep thinking like Rory and Spieth, like I don't know what they did to the golf gods, but like the way Rory played last year, the way Spieth's playing this year, like it's time for one of them. I hope both to break a major curse. There's just golf is weird, Dan. Like I just don't get how these 2 dudes who are killers for like 3 years when 7 combined majors and they just stop. Now they're getting back to the top of their games again. The golf gods just don't let things go their way.
Yeah.
That in fact it interests me so much.
I mean it's especially for Spieth, that's like just part of his shtick, it seems like, and that's, I mean, it's an amazing game. That's why it's addicting.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, Spieth's a drug.
Like, yeah, Spieth is a drug. We were off the Spieth this week for sure. All weekend was like just Spieth. I mean, yeah, it really is an amazing game that finds a way to challenge the people that are at their best. I mean, you saw Scotty today, like he shot a 70 and he'd probably tell you it was a bad round. But he was like complaining all over the place and missing putts and doing all this and gesturing over here, and it's just amazing how this game can make it hard on the people that are playing it best. And I think that's kind of the tale as old as time. Golf is that's why people both keep coming back to it and like hate it all at the same time. It's because it gives you that glimpse of amazingness and then takes it away so quickly. So, yeah, I mean, I think that about sums up this week as a kind of a broader note on Spieth, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't really have much more. I
Yeah.
really just want to simulate to I guess May 4th. Jordan said probably for the Wells Fargo. Like, I'm ready to get back to work. I want to track. I want this contention to keep on coming. I want to get through these next 2 weeks because I mean, if he's, follows through, he plays Wells Fargo. We got Wells Fargo, we got the Byron Nelson, we got the PGA, the Schwab, and Memorial.
Yeah.
Like I'm so excited, Dan. Like I want that 5-week stretch. What we got? Lacey's one in there. The Ranch, the big major for you.
Yeah, of course. And
Fargo's an elevated event. The PGA, obviously, Memorial elevated. Like I want to get back to work.
And for him too, like, I mean, I talk about Craig Ranch because I love it, and I think it gets screwed by the schedule. But like, that's his hometown event. Like that one matters to him more than it does to a lot of people.
Not Cage Lee.
Well, yeah, I guess Cage Lee. I mean, I don't know what KH Lee did to that course, like what he told the superintendents or what, kind of secret info he has, but that dude plays it really well. But yeah, it's a really good stretch, and I think too, like he talked about, this is now nine appearances in 11 weeks, so it's been a good run through this spring, or end of winter, early spring. And now he gets a couple weeks off. I think they mentioned on the broadcast he's taking a vacation next week or something.
I think I heard that. Good for him.
Which is good. Get away from it a little bit and then get back to work the next week. I also the other reason I like Wells Fargo, not only just to get back to it, but also I think the third week is a good week to peak.
Yeah.
And that's at this point, like that is the tournament, and it is kind of every year, but once the Masters passes and you're like, oh, you kind of forget about all the Masters, like just kind of wears off. The Wanamaker's the only thing I think about all day, every day.
Yeah, that's what's on my mind right now. That's what I was thinking about right after the Masters. Yeah,
I mean, it's like
I think
it occupies the dome.
It does. It's similar to Rory too. Like Rory came with form to the Masters. He crapped his pants. I don't know if I see that from Jordan. I don't know, man. I kept on saying I just think the golf gods hate these two dudes, but
Or
who knows?
they've gotten their share. Yeah.
Well, no, they deserve more. That's
No,
how I
yeah, I mean that might be how you feel, but
it's just
coming,
mind-boggling.
It's coming. It has to be coming. Like
let me be frank. I'll take any major. Like
oh, for sure.
Take anyone.
Well, yeah, any major. I mean, at this point, I mean, I'm not gonna say that, but this season deserves a win, and I think the golf gods recognize that.
It deserves more than one win.
That's coming at some point. Yeah, no, it probably deserves. I'd be curious to see what his expected wins are on Data Golf at the end of this. Is it up yet, or probably not?
Probably tomorrow.
Because it's probably now above like half.
Yeah,
half, at least above, probably closer to 1 than half, but we'll see. And it'd be disappointing to not have something on there. So the golf gods will award for that. Schedule looks good. He's peaking at the right times. He's playing really, really well. Putter is there. The recession is nearly over.
We can't end it yet.
Can't end it yet. I think if it went in on 18 in the playoff, an early call may have been made. But we need to see it again at the PG. We need to see it again.
At OL.
After the break at Hill. Yes. So, yeah, I don't have any other thoughts really from a Spieth perspective. Congrats to Fitzpatrick. He played great.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank God. The golf gods know that people don't like Cantlay, so that's why he's not winning. That dude took forever on 14 to figure out what he was gonna do. Thank you
made
for
the shot look very easy.
Yes, thank you for CBS pointing that out. That Spieth and Fitz were not happy. There's a video of Billy Foster going around on Twitter of him just like almost nodding off while
Dude,
Cantlay's
he hates that too. I mean, I remember when he was
hitting a
pissed at
tee shot.
Fitzpatrick for taking too long on a shot. He got pissed at his own guy. Like he wants to get in and get out, which is right.
So another great week. I wish Harbortown played a little harder. Like 17 unders is tough, and the field, I think at like a top 40 was -7 or something like that.
Won't be like that at the Wells Fargo.
And it definitely won't be like that until we get probably to Ranch.
It might be a 10 to 12 under for a top 40.
Well, because they refuse to put it in the proper slot in the schedule. And who knows? Maybe it blows down there this year at Ranch. I feel like Ranch always gets screwed with the wind too. Like
if it blows, it fits Mr. Spieth. That's for
a
sure.
firm ranch with some wind, like you might get an overpar winner. That's how tough it'll play. No, but that's coming up. All a bunch of good stuff on the way. It does really suck to not be having a live Sunday pod and to be literally this close from a vintage Spieth putter raise fist pump. You know what I'm saying? Like it was there and the putt just didn't fall. And it would have been so fitting. And it would have I think it would have been like we're back to, well, we're 99% back.
It would have been a nice way to cruise off and do a couple weeks off.
Yeah, certainly. Sure. But I think this keeps the fire lit, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And we move.
Yeah, I think the worst, as a sports fan, I think the worst part, especially like golf, the worst part about like as a fan of Spieth, sorry, I'm trying to look for the word here, but the worst part is being like fine with where you are. What's the word for that, Dan? I can't, it's not coming.
Like okay with mediocrity or okay
No, not okay with mediocrity, but like
content.
Yeah, content. There you go. I think that's what's awesome. I highly doubt if he would have won today that he would have been content. But you damn well know for sure he's not going to be content now. He's going to continue to work his behind off. And you know that he is paying. I mean, he's very much looking forward to Oak Hill. I think, obviously, if he plays Wells Fargo, he's doing that because he thinks the course fits his game well, which it should.
Yeah.
But same for Rory. Jordan Spieth is going to be going into a PGA with the best form that he's had in a long time.
Yeah.
And that's what's on my dome right now.
That is the truth. And he won't have, given that he's going on vacation and then a week with Cam, he won't have time to go play 81 practice holes at O Hill and have 19 putts in a round. So, I mean, I suppose he could still miss the cut, but it won't be because he tried too hard. With that, I think we probably wrap it up unless you've got any other deep thoughts. Like I said, Bob will get his thoughts out at some point because I know they are probably
similar to ours.
I'd imagine the message is similar, but I'm sure he has some other good points to bring up. I probably rambled a little bit in this one, so I apologize for that. If you made it through it, you are a trooper. But we appreciate it. Good things are coming. They just have to be. and we will be there with you guys when they are, and that'll
Yeah,
be awesome.
for sure.
It'll make the triumph even greater when it comes.
It will. Just my last thing. I like to do it on Instagram. I did it after the Masters. Thank you guys for the support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for viewing our 3 pages. It means a lot. We're on the journey together, watching Spieth weekly, and it's fun to live and die
What a
by.
journey it is, man.
I love the dude. I love you guys for, giving us an audience to vent to talk to follow. It's very much fun, and we're only about halfway through the season, maybe a little over halfway. We got a long way to go, and it's going to be fun if Mr. Spieth continues to plot and play like this.
It certainly is. So until, well, maybe we do like a mid-season recap or something, but
Seems possible.
until the Wells Fargo, which hopefully he goes. I pray he goes. I know that would suck for travelers goers, namely Bob, but sorry, Bob. I want to see him at Mr. Hollow. So until then, we will see you guys. Peace.
Take care.